I think I'm live, but I don't know until I log on to the slowest internet in the world. Guys, if you can hear me, you can hear me. If you can't, well then I guess there's always room for a take two, right? Says I'm live, but I don't know until I actually pull up this control panel. So if I am live, how are you guys doing today? If I'm not, then this is just another weird take. I've taken plenty of those. It's been a while since we've been live, man. It's been a while. We've been busy. We've been real busy, though. I think since the last one that NLF-TV went live on, we were preparing for a tournament. That I will take responsibility of that and dropping the ball because we had some decent reds, but we were planning on having our trout to win it all, and gosh. Okay, so I am live. What's up, Ronnie? How are you doing, man? How you guys been? I don't know what episode we're doing, but we're going to title this. We're going to talk about a couple things today. Ram will be back with us next week. This is a very improv. I've been grinding away at this video that we're working on here, the trout video, and it's a tough one, dude. This is one of the tougher ones that I think I've ever done. And Fat Boy Luke. What's up, Bobby T? Where are you fishing out of, man? We're down here in Corpus Christi, Texas. We'll be deep in the Laguna Madre. Right now, that's where we're at. We fish all over, though, man. We've gone down to Mexico, fish a lot in our backyard, and we'll take occasional trips to the East Coast, Florida, Pompano Beach area. My favorite place to go offshore fishing is Pompano Beach, Florida. A lot of very interesting species that you can get there. Now, if I want to catch big fish, I'll stay here in Texas. But, you know, Florida just has species that we don't have that give you a very good chance of getting if you're in the right spot at the right time. So, I hope that answered your questions. Do you do any fishing down in South Padre, Port Isabel? Josh, you know, I don't, not yet, man. You know, I don't like to go to areas that I'm unfamiliar with, or that I won't film an area until I actually kind of understand it a little bit. I know that sounds kind of weird, you know, as a YouTuber, you kind of tend to go out there and just want to find content and push it out as quickly as possible. But I'm not really, never have been really too worried about pushing out a tremendous amount of content. I just, I try and do a little bit more than normal. You guys have probably seen that this year. But when it comes down to, this is the way I have it set up now. So the reason that some of our videos have picked up a little bit is because I've decided to record the behind-the-scenes stuff on some of our adventure stuff. So, you know, a full-blown production adventure episode where I'm taking you guys somewhere, and you know, every story is different, but I'll try and just bring you guys with us. You know, sort of make it like an exciting, you know, I wouldn't say magical, but definitely an exciting experience. Well, those episodes, you know, they take a while, dude. You know, they really do, because they just do. They're for me, they're a little bit complex. You know, as somebody who has to film pretty much mostly everything and edit it, and usually it's been me behind the camera, but you know, Ram and Ruben, they've been behind the camera quite a bit this year. Ruben's had a little bit of a rough year. He had a couple good catches. But he's got I sense a comeback coming on him. We'll see if he closes out strong at the end of this year. We're going to find out this weekend. So, what was I getting to? Man, you guys, holy moly. I totally went off track there. Oh, yeah. So going back, you'll know when I'm in Padre Island whenever you start seeing these behind the scenes, these quick episodes. And when you start seeing that, then you can kind of, you'll sort of pick up on it. There's one behind the scenes episode where I was already there. I went down y'all's slide there, and in Slitterbond, and that was my first time out there, just kind of at least scoping things out, figuring out how this water moves, you know, what sort of structure you guys have, if you guys have it. And when you start seeing more and more of those behind the scenes, then you'll know that I'm in South Padre. But I have not. There's a lot of things I need to get there. I want y'all snook. I'd love to go after a really good snook, man. Not just a common snook or the common snook. As far as size goes, I'd really like to go after a nice, respectable one. But that would, of course, require a little bit of help from some of the locals, you know, sit down, talk about the fish. I'm not all about putting me on a spot, you know. I'm more about, you know, I want to learn about y'all's land and tell me, you know, how do these, who, what, when, where, and then from there I'll figure out where these fish are at. That's kind of where I like, what is my real job? I'm a manager of managers, Topwater. I manage a condominium, and I also work online. Carry On Group. It's we basically we have I work for, I'm not going to drop any names here, but I work for a company called Carry On LLC, and we control and manage servers across the world. So I think right now we're working in South Africa, but we have servers in South America all the way up to Texas, or, you know, just that whole region of South America, and then Australia, Africa, South Africa. They're all over. I don't know, but anyway, we control these servers for a company. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So that's what I do, man. Well, tell me about you guys' weekend. Hopefully you guys had a good one, man. There's I'm gonna show you guys. I know some of our Facebook. It's funny, man. You guys, like, we're in a very different time in regards to social media. With, you know, YouTube, it really sort of started something, and you're starting to see little sprouts of, can we compete with YouTube? And if any of them are going to compete with YouTube, it's going to be Facebook, and Facebook has made some strides, and I've seen a lot of people. It's weird, man. This is starting to separate from Facebook and YouTube. Is people aren't really wanting to cross over, which I think is weird. You know, it's like almost like as if they're having to cross a road. Nah, I just don't want to go over there. I mean, it's just a matter of 2 swipes of your thumb. But a lot of people from Facebook don't like to click another link and go into an open search for, you know, like Next Level Fishing. So we have a good amount of following that just sits there, and they'll enjoy our content. They don't necessarily watch the show, but they'll enjoy our previews or our pictures, you know, and they'll sort of keep track of us from there. And we're always getting wonderful emails from that side of things. Well, I've decided to not only continue the YouTube thing and upload our videos, but I'm going to go ahead and also start slowly. Excuse me. Been kind of sick last week, so still kind of getting over that. I haven't had a chance to really talk like this in a while, so it's kind of drying me up. I'm going to start releasing some full episodes on Facebook, and I'm going to clean a few of them up before I release them. Some things that, you know, I did that now I'm looking at it and like, I don't really like that, so I'll change it up. But yeah, I'm going to start releasing every week our 2018 lineup, and we'll go ahead and integrate them. You know, so basically whenever I do a YouTube video, it'll also be published on Facebook as well, just to kind of spread the, what do they call that nowadays? Clout or something? Your total fan base or whatever people they follow. What's up, Mark? What's up, dude? I gotta title this, man. Yeah, what do I title this episode, dude? Oh, if you guys are watching, by the way, well, of course you're watching, right? You're here. I guess it depends on which way the screen's looking, but if you look to your right, that's one of the big trout that we had. We've gotten 3. I'll let you in on that. We've gotten 3, okay? So we've got a 26, a 27, and one that's a little bit over 30. But we're not done yet, man. You know, it's not, for me, these videos, man, it's more than just going out and catching that trophy trout, you know, or for this particular episode, it's more than that. You know, even after you catch it, you still got to tell that story. And I want to do it justice, man, because trout fishing down here it's very unspoken. I mean, it's spoken. We know about it as locals, but you know, I'll show you this video. He was giving me some flack about saying, "Well, what's so mysterious about Laguna Madre?" You know, he was kind of laughing about it because in my video, I said, you know, the mysterious lands that we're digging deep into, the mysterious lands of Laguna Madre, and we're looking for these big old trophy trout. And he starts laughing. I was like, well, I mean, you know, a lot of people, that's one of the things we're going to talk about in this video, man. A lot of people don't really, you know what, let me play this video for you guys so y'all can see it. In case you guys don't really follow us on Facebook, or yeah, on Facebook. And I don't really put out teasers on YouTube. I usually give you guys when the content is ready. But I'm going to go ahead and show y'all. Let's see here. Nope, that's not going to be the one. That's going to be the one. Can I do one that's full screen? There you go. Okay. Oh. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, you guys can see that. Good. You guys are actually looking at each other now. All right. Mark, you're still on the screensaver, dude. Show you guys a preview here. In winter, a different angler plays a different game. Your tournaments have dried out, and the average angler isn't willing to battle the elements.
I was at least a good 27 at least. Monster, dude.
The true story of fishing isn't against anybody else. It's against yourself. On this episode of Next Level Fishing, we head out to the mysterious lands of Laguna Madre in search of the only thing that matters in winter, a true trophy trout. Okay, so let's stop that right there. And I gotta get used to this, man. Gotta get used to this. You guys like this one better? Or that one? One or two? One or two? Or I can just, I don't know. I'll leave it right there. Yeah, so so that's the winter trout intro right there, right? And we released it, which is going crazy. I mean, for our standards, it's going pretty crazy. That video has actually sparked a lot of attention for us. Probably the biggest jump that we've ever seen in the history of NLF-TV. I think that in just 3 days or a couple of days it's been out, I think we're up at about 21,000 views, 600 shares, or no, 150, 160 shares, and about 600 likes, which I thought was like, well, that's a little unusual. But it's got a lot of people's attention. They're wanting to see this one unroll. So, and I've got a lot of emails responses from that video. So I'm gonna take my time on it. And going back to what I was getting critiqued on as far as, well, what the heck is so magical about the Laguna Madre? Dude, there's so many good things about the Laguna Madre, man. I don't even know where to start. I mean, have you guys, I mean, it's the only place in the Texas coastline where we still have natural rock. You know, you just don't see that And you probably will never, ever see that if you're driving down all the way to the land cut area and you're just going down the channels. But, you know, there's so many questions in it. Before you live here, before you really research this information, it's crazy, dude, because when you first hear that, it's like it was one of those experiences for me where I was like, well, what does that mean? So I start, you know, dude, I mean, I got crazy with it. Like, I went online. I went to Half Price Bookstore and got all kinds of like old school historic Texas books to understand a little better about that region and how that land sort of came about, and why there are rocks there, and why is there right at a little bit north of the land cut, there's a geographical change in Texas where it goes from a muddy sort of dirt soil, I guess you could say, to a sandy based soil. And it's almost like maybe, I mean, I don't know if there was like some sort of like little bit of shifting, continental shifting, which I know may sound like a earthquake stuff, which, believe it or not, there actually is a fault line somewhere in Nueces. I don't know exactly where it's at, but you used to be able to see it. And so actually we do have, well, according to, we don't feel them, but little tremors here and there. I don't know if it's lined up with that or what, but, you know, you look at this stuff and then you sort of play it back to fishing, because you start thinking rocks, okay, sand, like shelly sand, but not just like sand that's being pushed up from the ocean. Like, it's actually naturally there. Like, it's a different, it's not dirt, it's not mud. You just don't see that, you know, and there's certain areas that once you get through the Laguna Madre that turn into that, dude. And it's the salinity on top of it all. You know, there's a scientist and archaeologist that have been they've made some accusations on what hypersaline does to fish. Go look it up, dude. It'll blow your mind. I don't know, you know, maybe all this sort of plays into why the fishing is so good, why the quality is so good the more south you go on Laguna Madre. And one could argue pressure, you know, that's fair, but I think there's something to be said about that salt, you know. So when and where for tarpon? Man, dude, we can get tarpon here in Corpus, but I would love to get some of y'all's tarpon, because I feel like y'all's tarpon is a little bit more prevalent, dude. Now, well, that, and I feel like you guys get more consistently larger tarpon. We get some pretty big, or decent tarpon. They're not big from like a Florida standpoint, but some of them do get pretty big, dude. You know, Aransas Pass used to be the tarpon capital of the world. For those of you guys who didn't know that, man, I think it was President, I don't know, one of them. I don't know, maybe was it Ford? There's been a lot, like back in those days before they started blowing up close inshore rigs and ruining, and, you know, before CCA and all, in Texas Park and Wildlife, you know, came in and started protecting waters and helping the population go up. You know, that stuff was an issue. Well, before all that, we had the tarpon capital of the world. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah. But it takes years, dude. Years for tarpon to make a comeback. And I feel like they were less dealt with over there in South Padre. So that's just how I feel. So if I'm going to go for a tarpon, it's going to be down there in South Padre. Even though I could probably have a little bit slightly better chances here in Corpus. Not so much because of numbers. Maybe I should retract my number statement, but maybe just because I have a little bit more sources up here and people that I know that are fishing when I'm not, and they sort of become my eyes, and I can sort of rebound or respond off of that. So I will get one. I'm targeting really 2 species next year, man, and that's just a tarpon and a cobia. I'm going to still fish the way I normally fish and go for my kings and whatnot, but I'm going to make it an effort that whenever I go out there, every time I've got a rig set up, especially, not so much for the tarpon, but especially for cobia. So it's tough here, dude, for that. That's because I missed 3 or 4. I could have. Problem is, man, when you start going out with more and more people, man, you know, cobia, they'll, I don't know. I don't like to be in groups where I'm targeting a specific species and I know it's around, because, you know, You both get there and you're like, all right, do you want to cast first or you want me to cast first? And then if he misses it, you're just like, man, I think I could have had a good shot at that. Just kidding. So yeah, it's tough. Still haven't found a title for this episode though. How's everything coming in? Everything good? For those of you guys who voted on those kayak angler awards, if you did, I appreciate it. We don't really like push those too much. Our video of the year came in third amongst a lot of videos, which is cool, man. I mean, those awards are cool. You know, they're choice awards, so they're, you know, it's kind of a popularity game. You know what I mean? And not that I don't, you know, I don't make, if there's nothing tied to it other than just bragging rights, I try not to get too wound up in it. I rarely even, you know, some of these guys they'll really like, what do you call that, campaign? They'll really campaign for these awards, and I guess, you know, it's really the only one that's an attention grabber right now for the kayak industry, but it's only because it sort of started off small and just built and built and built and built. And I would say it's probably the most sought after, but it's also one of the most it's one of the most unimportant, I guess you could say. Still don't know what the heck I'm trying to say. Award that there is out there, I think, you know, besides bragging rights. And what I mean by that is, if bragging rights is your thing, well, then it should be, I guess, you should really go after it. But, you know, I'm not going to lose my marbles. Some of these guys are like, I was getting messages and I got a message. The first time I found out when they released these was, man, how did your video get third? And I was like, dude, I'm not going to get into that, you know. But then I got persuaded by one of my friends to go look at it, and I finally did. And I was like, man, dude, how did this guy who's just, the guy who won, it's not even about me being third. I feel sad for the guy who I thought should have been first, which is that Marlin video. Dude, these guys are catching marlin out there in Panama, just a few hours south of us. Catching marlin. I thought that video right there was deserving of a video of the year, you know. But some guy with like a minute-long video, he just kind of talked about his experience on the KBF and threw up a couple jig heads and some worms, and it was just like a minute video. This is what I use. This is what I, you know, yada yada. Well, good luck, guys. Well, that guy ended up beating everybody. I was like, dang, dude. All right. It is what it is, though, man. It's all for fun. You know, it's not a serious award. It's all for fun. But if you guys did vote, appreciate that, you know. You guys are awesome. We didn't really campaign or say much about it other than I made a funny post on Facebook saying that I'll fix the Corpus Christi streets and amongst other things. I sort of made it like one of those funny, haha, local campaigning things, like the local campaigners or politicians trying to. Do you have any electric issues with your fish finder power on the kayak when you're launching from the surf? Absolutely not. Not on the Lowrance. I used to have some. I'll tell you this. I used to have some with my Garmin, but the Garmin was good too. The thing I like about the Garmin is the plugs in the back are like the tiny ones, so they're a little bit more watertight. On Lowrance, you know, things tend to be a little bit more bulkier in regards to, you know, how everything screws in, the power and the transducer and all that. But so far, I can tell you that I have not had any electrical issues with that Lowrance. But you may want to ask me in about a year's time. Because I'll have that. It's a 7-inch screen, dude. I don't need, you know, I don't see myself upgrading for the next few years. So, so far, no. Have I had power outages on it? Now, I'm separating this from an issue from an outage because the only issue I really had was whenever I'm pounding the surf, you know, and my kayak comes up, boom, boom, and it's hole slapping through those waves. Sometimes the connections tend to rattle, and it'll disconnect like that. But I have everything in arm's reach, so it's never really been an issue. So far good. The TI-7, I don't know. You guys Help me out on this. I don't even know which one I have. It's a TI-7 something. 7-inch Lowrance TI-7. So far, so good. So far, so good. When are we going, Mark? Man, you tell me, dude. You tell me, man. Where are you fishing out? Hey, by the way, man, shout out to we had a couple of guys that are they follow the show, man, live. I don't know how much of the episodes or if they're new followers or not, but there's 3 brothers that I ran into, and they were on here a few of these live NLF live, whatever you want to call them, podcasts or video casts, whatever they call them these days, whatever you millennials call them. They said hi. I thought that was cool, man. Hey, we follow your show. You know, it's always fun, dude, when you run into people like that, and because we don't always fish in areas where there's a lot of people. So every now and then when I do, and you know, it's always good to kind of just talk to guys, man, that have been following us for a while. It's always fun. So shout out to you guys. I'm not gonna drop y'all's names. I do have y'all's photos coming, by the way. I'll send them to your email. But it was a pleasure, man. Those 3 brothers, they came all the way down to Austin. And if you go back on some of these chats, we were having a conversation with them, and it just so happened to be that we run into each other. I thought that was cool, man. A lot of fun. They actually did better than me that day. They got into them. Hey, okay. Well, let me... So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. So you guys can expect to see full episodes start rolling out on Facebook as soon as, well, they've already released. And just to give you a heads up on everything, man, everything's is going good. We've already started to produce that episode, and it's that little teaser. It took some pretty good fire right now on Facebook, so it's got some people riled up, wanting to see more. We got a lot of new followers, man, out of that video. So and a lot of responses, emails, and DMs, just asking who, what, where, and when is Next Level Fishing. I thought that was real cool, so I just told them to stay tuned. Sit tight, and we'll roll this one out. If you guys want to continue watching, then you continue watching. As simple as that. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I just wanted to kind of throw something out there for you guys. I'm going to have more episodes running out. I'm going to start cranking out some of these behind the scenes. And if you guys have any questions, comment below. And just comment below. Join the conversation. We will probably see you guys next Thursday. Me and Ram, we've got something lined up. And it should be interesting, man. This show's going to take the live segment's going to take a little bit of a turn. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. It's going to get a little controversial, though. A little controversial. That's my pitch for next week. We're going to get into some good stuff, too. Not just talk about the easy stuff, but we're going to get into the good stuff. Me and Ram. So you guys have a wonderful weekend, man. It's going to be cold. If you guys are out there, be safe, man. I will be out doing my last bit of filming. Hopefully, I'm knocking on wood here. I don't have it, but next week with the guys. And then after that, man, guys, come down and let's do some fishing. Will the episode be... Yeah, absolutely, the episode will be... Yeah, Josh. Nothing's going to change on YouTube. I was just saying that I'm going to upload... I'm connecting our Facebook group with our YouTube group, because there's about 7,000-ish of y'all, and then there's about 7,000-ish of them. And a lot of those guys don't really watch the show on YouTube, but they really enjoy some of the cut content that we put out. So, you know, I don't want to leave these guys out also, so we're doing both, basically. Was the sort of announcement of the day. No more on Thursdays. Yeah, you guys want me to... You know, technically the slowest day of the month or week or whatever is a Tuesday. Believe it or not. They say statistically the slowest day of the week is Tuesday for the human species. So, if you guys want me to do them on Tuesdays, we can do them on Tuesdays. Say something now or forever hold your peace. Arturo, what's up, brother? Lost over 7 this season. What did you lose? Oh, Cobia. Okay, well, let y'all comment below. I'm gonna go ahead and hang this up. We'll see you guys maybe next Tuesday. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.